I'm going to look today at a few passages starting in James, talking about God's providence, His care for us. James is writing to the church, and in James chapter 4, beginning in verse 13 through verse 17, he writes, "Come now, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go to such and such a city, and spend a year there and engage in business and make a profit. Yet you do not know what your life will be like tomorrow. You are just a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes away. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and also do this or that. But as it is, you boast in your arrogance, and all such boasting is evil. Therefore, to the one who knows the right thing to do and does not do it, to him it is sin." We kind of become accustomed to the patterns and cycles of our lives, to getting up on Monday and going to work, coming home, eating supper, whatever, and the cycles of our lives become such a pattern. We get to falling into the trap of thinking that it's always going to be like that. It was like that last week. It was like that last year. It was like that 10 years ago. So it's always going to be like that. And James reminds us that no, it doesn't work that way. Our lives are just a vapor, just a fog of breath on the winter air that disappears quickly. And that is all that we are. That is all our lives are. And wisdom remembers this and remembers that our times are in God's hands. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, Solomon was writing there on a similar thing about our volatility of our life. And he says in chapter 7, Ecclesiastes 7:10 through 14, "Do not say, why is it that the former days were better than these? For it is not from wisdom that you ask about this. Wisdom, along with an inheritance, is good, and advantage to those who see the sun. For wisdom is protection, just as money is protection. But the advantage of knowledge is that wisdom preserves the life of its possessors. Consider the work of God, for who is able to straighten what he has bent? In the day of prosperity, be happy. But in the day of adversity, consider, God has made the one as well as the other, so that man will not discover anything that will be after him." We think of, in the past it was so much better, or we think that it's always been this way. And Solomon is reminding us, no, there is a rhythm of God's choosing where adversity and prosperity can come our ways. They're under His control. They're not under our control. And we can't know. We can't understand. We can't see the future to know what is going on or what is coming. This year, if nothing else, this year should drive home to us. We don't know what's going to happen next. We don't have a clue. The psalmist, in response to the same thought, in Psalm 39, verses 4 through 8, he responds to this and he says, "Lord, make me to know my end, and what is the extent of my days. Let me know how transient I am. Behold, you have made my days as handbreadths, and my lifetime as nothing in your sight. Surely every man at his best is a mere breath. Surely man walks about as a phantom. Surely they make an uproar for nothing. He amasses riches and does not know who will gather them. And now, Lord, for what do I wait? My hope is in you. Deliver me from all my transgressions. Make me not the reproach of the foolish. The psalmist, in thinking about this and how fleeting life is, how frail we are as human beings, he prays, Lord, help me to understand, help me to know, help me to see and realize just how fleeting my life is. And when we face that, there are several responses we have quite naturally. We can become anxious, we can become depressed. Our lives, disrupted this year with both the pandemic and the civil unrest and everything else that's going on. Yet we're never really secure in our future. We're never really certain what will happen. And if we rely on our own abilities, if we rely on our own strength, if we rely on our own ability to foresee the future, which doesn't exist, we become fearful and depressed. But if, with the psalmist, we turn to God and say, my hope is in you, not my abilities, not my strength, not my wisdom, but in you, we have a hope that is certain and sure. And that hope protects us, encourages us, and we can, with wisdom, say, if the Lord wills, I will be alive tomorrow. And if He wills, I would like to be able to do this or do that. But understanding it is all in God's providence, all under His control, and He cares for those that He loves. He will take care of us.